Okay, so we got a 2014 Kia. This is Optima. We're gonna replace. We're replacing rear brake pads and rotors. So we got some tools. We got a hammer, 14 millimeter, and a flathead screwdriver. So very simple. You want to go back here. You want to remove the two bolts. Be careful with your hand on this caliper. 1, 2. There you go. Both of these should come off. Just like that. And once it comes off, you should be able to. So if you want to compress this piston, what you want to do, you want to push really hard. Once you get in there, you could use a C-clamp, but none of your other tools are going to work. So you can use we're going to just compress it just like that. You see that, how that goes in? The piston went all the way in, and go a little bit on the piston side also. And there you go. So we compressed our piston at the same time as we took everything apart. So let's let this baby sit. So check this brake pads. They're not coming off. They're jammed in. You don't want that, okay? So once you're doing your brake job, you want to do it properly and nicely. This is where your hammer comes handy. You want to bang these babies out. And the other side is really rough. I had to bang those guys out there. And 1, 2. Both brake pads came off. Notice the one in the back has this brake wear indicator sensor. It's in the bottom. That's where you want it at. So it can squeal as the car goes reverse. Let's pop this baby off. Let's pop this baby off. Both of the hardwares come off because we got new hardware with our brake pads. So what you want to do is you want to get in here. You want to clean the surface area where the hardware is going to sit. And that's all you need to do. If you can get a good flathead screwdriver and just go in the center here, clean the edges. The more you clean, the better your hardware is going to sit, and you're going to have more clearance. You're going to do the same thing on the inside. You're going to have more clearance, and your brake pad's going to go in nice and smooth. There you have it. So take some parts cleaner, spray that baby on. There you go. Perfect. Time for me to get the brake pads. So here's our brake pads. Comes in a box like this. Evolution is what we're using. And inside here, you're gonna have a hardware, a package with hardware inside, and you're gonna have brake pads in there. So we're gonna put those brake pads on the side for now. What we're gonna do is we're gonna open this guy up. So we're gonna take 2 of these. They all should be same. We're gonna take 2 of these. We're gonna get some greasing, and sometimes they get stuck like that. Most of the time they get stuck like that. So there they are, new hardware in this baby. But we're gonna put a little bit of greasing where they're gonna sit at. This is the grease right here. So what I like to do is take a little bit of greasing. You don't want to get it onto the rotor, just a tiny amount. And just put it right where the hardware is gonna sit and touch, so it's not metal to metal. I'm sure you guys understand that. So it's not metal to metal. And then you want to take your hardware, make sure you center it perfectly and evenly. And once you center it, everything should just sit flush. And what you want to do is, where's my flathead screwdriver? You want to take the flathead screwdriver and you want to push right in the middle here, because that's the part that's going to touch the rotor. You see the rust is touching there. You don't want that. So do a little bit more. Just a little bit more. There you have it. If you leave that there, it's going to make a lot of noise and the customer's not going to be happy. Same thing on the top. And make sure you have clearance here and clearance on the inside there, and it's not hitting the rotor. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the back end. The top end. So make sure you center this baby. There you go. So there you go. Perfect. A lot of times you do have to tap on it so it could go in. There you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the bottom end, in the back, and I'm going to make sure it's in. Small taps. There you go. Give it a nice little flush taps to it. That way you have maximum clearance for the brake pads to sit. So same thing here. Let's tap right here. There you go. Okay, same thing in the back end. And once you do this, your water should not be touching any part of this hardware. If it is touching, you're gonna hear this look sign type of noise. Okay, and also your backing plates can touch, so make sure they're not touching. There you go. It's kind of rusted, so that's something we can't help there. So next step, we're gonna take our brake pads. If I can get my knife from here, we're gonna take it out of the packaging. So let's open this baby up. So in here we're gonna have 4 brake pads. Make sure you don't have grease in your hand. So remember, we talked about this brake wear indicator sensor. So if you put it like that, it becomes on the top. You don't want it on the top. So there's 4 brake pads. So you want to make sure you find the one that's the correct one. If you put this one here, it's going to be in the bottom. These, the ones without it, they both are the same. So what I like to do here is I like to take these brake pads, try them on. Okay. If they don't go on properly, you're going to have to grease these babies really well. I'm sorry, not grease, but file them really well. So what I like to do is I like to try them on, and they're not going on well. So we're gonna get a file. So what you want to do with file is, first of all, you're gonna figure out the problem. Okay, the problem here is this parts are going in, but top to top is the issue. So what you want to do here is you want to file this brake pad just like that. You want to just clean the paint off these really well. Just clean the paint first and try them on. Let's do both top and bottom. There you go. A little bit more. There you go. Okay, let's give it another attempt. Little better. Yep. This is some crazy hardware here. So here goes nothing. Little bit more right on the tip over here. So I'm gonna do a little bit off the camera. I'm gonna be standing over here. Because I got a little bit of. I put on the arm lift. So what I did was I put it right there on the arm lift, and I just filed the crap out of it. And let's give it another attempt. Much better. A little bit more will help me. A little bit more. You see the pad's going in, but I don't want that. I want this thing to just go in with the fingertip. Okay, so let's try now. And still not going in with the fingertip. So now I'm missing a spot on this side a little bit. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this baby. There you go. Much better. Little tiny bit more would help me out. So bear with me, guys. I'll be right back. I'm gonna do the same thing with both brake pads and get them in. Okay, so I did a lot of filing, and I'm happy with this. So what we're gonna do is, the key here now is greasing, and a little bit of grease on the tips there. So this little guy, you're gonna have to bust a little bit of force to it to push the hardware in, and after that your brake pad should simply go right in. Shouldn't be an issue putting that in. So I did the same thing for the inner brake pad. I had to do a lot of filing, not just a little bit. Try not to use air tools. You do too much on it, and then your brake pad is too free to move in there, and you don't want that either. And just go a little, and there you go. And try not to touch the surface that's gonna meet with the rotor. So gonna have to work a little bit harder, and brake pad goes in nicely, easily. It should be able to move around like that nice and freely and easily, and that's what you want. Okay, next step here, you want to check your slider pins, and this is a Kia Optima. And then we're gonna pay attention to one more thing. What we're gonna do, pay attention to, is the slider pin. Make sure it's smooth, it's nice and smooth, and it's not jammed up. So I'm using this silicone grease here now. So I do have a video just on greasing, so you can check that out. A little bit of greasing on this little guy. It's the same procedure on the opposite side. You don't want to go crazy with the grease either. You want to take this little guy and you want to smack it in there. It should grab onto the boot. Make sure it grabs onto the boot. And here's another slider pin. Pay attention to the greasing. It's not a lot of greasing, so you don't want to put too much either. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little tiny bit amount of greasing from my little bottle here. Light them out. Just a light coating all around. That's all you need. This baby goes in. Okay, so pads are in. I like to put a little bit of greasing. Same good old grease. I just use my finger here, submerge it here, submerge it here, and that's it. We're gonna take our caliper. It's nice and clean. Caliper should go on nice and easy. If you need to compress a bit more, you can do so. But there you have it. Job well done, guys. Bada bing, bada boom. Thank you for watching my video. Make sure you tighten both of these bolts. The key here is greasing, cleaning, and the hardware. Even though you're doing brake pad slap, and if you're not changing the rotors, and that's it. This is the best I could do with the brake pad job. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like, and nothing is touching. Bada bing, bada boom. Bye bye.